Welcome to the SDP Forum. Feeling the heat on cooling off day, clamp down on freedom of expression. My name is Wong Souk. I'm the chair of SDP. And I would like to thank you all for spending your Saturday afternoon here to celebrate or to commiserate on the state of affairs of Singapore's democracy. The reason for today's forum was sparked off by a police report by the Elections Department against Ms. Teo Soh Lung, Mr. Roy Deng, and the website The Singapore Independent about 2 weeks ago on May 27th. The Elections Department complained that the three had allegedly published online articles and postings on cooling off day of the Bukit Batok by-election. And such postings on those 2 days have been said by some that they are prohibited under the cooling off day regulations of the Parliamentary Elections Act. So we are very happy today to have with us two protagonists of the ongoing saga, Soh Lung and Roy. They will tell us just what was going on in their heads on that fateful day of cooling off day that caused them to do what they did. And and also they will also share with us their encounter of the surreal kind at the Cantonment Police Station last week, wasn't it? And next we have the illustrious Dr. G Raman, who has 47 years of legal practice under his belt, and he was also a political detainee in the 1970s. Raman will explain on the law that prohibits the canvassing on cooling off day and polling day, and discuss whether the two protagonists have breached the law. Yeah. Okay, that's Dr. Raman. And finally, we have our very own Professor Paul Tambyah. True to his profession, as you know, he is a medical professor, he will give a dispassionate review of the Australian situation, which is apparently the basis for the Singapore's cooling off day regulation. He will then analyze the local situation of the mainstream media and explore what we can do to move forward as a political party and as a civil society. All right, so we'll start off with our first speaker, Soh Lung, who will talk about her Kafkaesque encounter at the police station. Soh Lung?
Yes. Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for coming. I suppose you come to see whether I'm okay or not okay, right? Yes, great. Can I have the first question that I'm supposed to answer is why did I post those 4 posts on my Facebook on cooling off day? And can you put the first post? There are 4 posts. The first one begins with, that's the one. Why did I post that? It's very simple. I was at home watching Channel News Asia, and that was a 10 o'clock news. And my good friend Tharman Shanmugaratnam came out and spoke at length about why Dr. Chi, or how Dr. Chi was spreading fear and alarm, right? And then next came, the second speaker was Chan Chun, Minister in the Prime Minister's office and Secretary General NTUC Chan Chun Sing, and he accused the SDP of making empty promises. And then lastly, Mr. Murali came, and he was the most sober of the 3. And finally, SDP Dr. Chi's speech was reported a little bit. So I sat through this entire news broadcast, and I was irritated, simply because already 8 ministers have come out to speak against the SDP, as if this is a life and death contest, which To me, it's only a by-election. They have already got so many seats in Parliament. Why do they need to work so hard using 8 ministers to come and combat against one person, one candidate? And so I thought about it and I said, okay, I will write something, a report on what I felt about this whole situation. And so you know, you are at home and you may be doing 101 things, and then you sit down at a computer and then you write. And yeah, and I posted it on cooling off day, 2:16 a.m. You know, some people cannot sleep in the early hours of the morning. Yeah. So the second posting is a bit itchy, you know, you just follow up 7:22 a.m. I don't know why I woke up so early. And that second posting also went out. And the third posting was a sharing of Dr. Ang's very nice table about conversations. And finally, the last one, I didn't make any comment. Of the 3, I made some comments, but the last one, I didn't make any comment. I simply shared Dr. Paul Tambyah's speech the day before. To me, it was very clear I didn't infringe the law. I'm only an individual in Singapore, and I'm entitled to freedom of speech and freedom of expression. And it came as a surprise to me that I got into trouble for all this. I don't know why also. So maybe later on you can tell me why I'm put into this fix. Now, the second question that I'm supposed to answer is my experience of police interrogation at the Cantonment Police Station. Before that, I must say this. On Friday, 27th of May, 2016, sometime in the afternoon, I had reporters calling me up, asking me for my views about what the election department complaint was all about. And I completely had no clue. I was in my brother's place enjoying myself with 2 dogs. And, you know, it puzzled me. So I thought, look, I better check out what the election department had against me. And then I was told that they were complaining about the 4 posts that I did. Quite frankly, I've forgotten what I have written. I'm such a prolific writer that I don't remember what I write. And using the mobile phone to retrieve your Facebook postings is not easy. And so I didn't bother very much, but I knew that I would get back and take a look, which I did. So that was it. You know, several reporters called me, asked me for my views. I gave I firmly stood by what I thought, that I'm an individual. I have committed no offense. I believe nothing was reported after that. Then on Saturday, I went to a talk at the projector, and I went back about 9:30. I noticed nothing. But at 9:55, I saw a letter that was not sealed, half in and half out of my door. I live in a private estate, but you know, this half in, half out, I picked it up. It was a letter asking me to go to the police station on Monday 9:30. Can you imagine? Serve the letter on me at 9:55 p.m., asked me to go on Monday morning 9:30. I felt very threatened, you know, and I said to myself, what's the urgency of all this? You know? Anyway, I didn't bother very much. I went to sleep. The next morning at 9:30 a.m., my doorbell rang. I was at my computer, and someone rang the bell. I said, who is that? Because I normally never open my door unless you tell me who you are. And then he said, police. So I was not quite surprised, but surprised at the same time. You know, I don't know what I felt. So I said, what do you want? And he said, I want to deliver a letter to you. I said, I've already got the letter. I don't need the letter anymore. Oh, okay, are you going for the interview? And I said, yeah, I am going for the interview, but I will be postponing it. When do you want to postpone it? And I said, well, I will tell the person and make my appointment. And then he said, okay, I'll give you a second telephone number. And that was it, he left. Now, then on Monday, before 9:30, the appointed time for my interview, I called the 2 officers to change the appointment. And that the appointment was changed to, unfortunately, to the day that Roy was also going to the police station. Actually, as an activist, you never make an appointment at the same time, on the same day. You should stagger it as far apart as possible, so that you know what happened to the first person who went. Yeah, it was my mistake, but well, we didn't suspect anything, I think. We thought that, I definitely didn't suspect anything. I thought that half an hour, 1 hour, I should be finished with this interview of my 4 silly posts, but the police didn't look at it that way. Anyway, I went, and I think you would have known what happened. I've written everything on the Facebook. After the interview, they actually came and said they wanted to seize my computer. The handphone, I refused to give them at the police station, but they were very adamant and they wanted my handphone as well. And so I was escorted by 4 police personnel, 2 women and 2 men, in a car, and went to my estate. And then after that, when I reached the estate, I discovered that there was another car, unmarked, with 4 forensic experts. So I was literally treated like a terrorist. It's so ridiculous. 7, 8 people, I think 8 people, escorted me to my apartment and raided my computer, insisted that they must have it. And I think some of you may have seen the Facebook postings of my friend. She actually videoed it, and it was very good. Everything is out in the open. Yeah. So yeah. So that's the story. Now, what the third question I'm supposed to answer is collection of the seized things. I also wrote something in the morning of yesterday. I was supposed to go and collect it on 2 or 3 days ago. I went there and they wanted my handphone, and then there was some misunderstanding. They said it was a misunderstanding, but to me it was very clear that they prohibited the taking in of my handphone to the interview room, and therefore I said, I'm not going in. It's like going into a lion's lair. I cannot do without my handphone. So I abandoned my appointment to collect my things and went home. So my lawyers are definitely going to arrange for the return of all these. So yeah, so this is my story. I think I've taken up 15 minutes already. Thank you very much. Huh? Still I have 5 minutes? Oh. Which one? Okay, now I'm investigated for 4 complaints of the election department. And those 4 complaints, if I'm charged and I'm guilty, if I'm found guilty, I'll be fined $1,000 and or 12 months in jail. I think this jail term is completely out of proportion to the $1,000 fine. It's so absurd that for a first world country to impose a 12 months imprisonment or a fine of 1,000, I think is totally absurd. Our parliament has completely gone haywire. There is no opposition to look into this. And here we are landing up in this kind of mess that we elected the government to give us. I find this very, very unsatisfactory. The other point I want to make is that the offenses, to my surprise, was an arrestable offense. I didn't anticipate this to be an arrestable offense. There's a clause there which I didn't bother to look. I thought, you go in 1 hour and you come out and that's it, no? But when they say that it's an arrestable offense, they can seize your things without warrant. But even if it's not arrestable, they can also seize your things without warrant, I'm told. There are people who have got their things seized because they suspect that you commit some offense and they just lay their hands on your things. We are living in a very dangerous society. And if we continue to be silent, well, good luck to us. Okay, so I finished my 15 minutes. Thank you.